The massive alien ship hung motionless above Seoul, casting an enormous shadow that swallowed entire city blocks. Its metallic surface gleamed with an unnatural blue-gray sheen, reflecting the morning sunlight like a cold mirror of destruction. Commander Relic Voss stood on the bridge, his six-fingered hands clasped behind his back, watching the human city below with calculated contempt. June Park crouched in a small underground bunker, his fingers tracing the outline of an old radio communication device. Around him, a dozen resistance fighters huddled close, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. The concrete walls were lined with hastily drawn maps, military communications equipment, and stacks of salvaged electronics. "They think we're just another peaceful planet," June whispered to Hana Kim, who was carefully adjusting some kind of electromagnetic pulse generator. Her hands moved with precision, each movement calculated and deliberate. Outside, the first wave of alien weapons powered up. Plasma cannons erupted with devastating precision, slicing through skyscrapers like they were made of paper. The initial attack was meant to be overwhelming, a show of absolute technological superiority that would crush human resistance before it could even begin. But something unexpected happened. Instead of total chaos, humans began to organize. Emergency services that survived the first strike immediately began coordinating rescue efforts. Military personnel who had been preparing for potential global conflicts now found their training unexpectedly relevant. Communication networks that had been built for disaster response suddenly became lifelines of resistance. In military bases and community centers, in universities and local government buildings, people started to move with a surprising sense of purpose. The initial shock of the alien invasion quickly transformed into a collective determination to survive. Commander Voss watched the initial assault through multiple holographic displays, expecting to see complete capitulation. His species had conquered hundreds of civilizations across the galaxy. Planets typically surrendered within hours of their first contact. But something about these humans was different. As plasma strikes continued, people were not just running. They were adapting. Emergency response teams used underground tunnels. Communication networks switched to backup systems. Military units that survived the initial strike began regrouping in unexpected locations. June Park's team in the underground bunker was already working. They had managed to capture a small piece of alien communication technology during the first strike. Hana was carefully dissecting its components, her keen engineering mind already seeing potential ways to understand and potentially counter the alien systems. "We're not going to die here," June said quietly, more to himself than to anyone else. "We're going to fight." The alien invasion force had calculated everything, except the human capacity for unexpected resistance. Their predictive models showed a quick, decisive victory, overwhelming technological superiority, complete planetary submission within 72 hours. But humans were writing a different story. In the streets of Seoul, in underground shelters, in makeshift communication centers, people were doing something the aliens had not anticipated. They were thinking, adapting, preparing to fight back. Commander Voss's initial report back to the Galactic Dominion would be the first indication that something was very different about this invasion. His logs would reflect confusion, a growing sense that these humans were not following any known conquest protocol. As the first day of invasion drew to a close, the city of Seoul looked like a war zone. Destroyed buildings, smoke rising from multiple locations. But beneath the destruction, something else was brewing, a resistance that would soon become legendary. June Park looked at the communication device, then at Hana. "We're going to need more than luck," he said. Hana just smiled. A smile that suggested they had more than luck on their side. They had human ingenuity. The first day of the alien invasion had ended. But the real fight was just beginning. The underground bunker buzzed with nervous energy. June Park moved between makeshift workstations, his eyes scanning screens filled with fragmented alien communication signals. Around him, a group of engineers, military personnel, and tech experts worked with desperate intensity. Hana Kim stood at the center of a cluttered table covered in dismantled alien technology. Her fingers moved quickly, connecting wires and circuit boards that seemed incomprehensible to everyone else. A small device began to pulse with a soft blue light, the first successful piece of reverse-engineered alien tech. Across the city, and indeed across the world, similar scenes were playing out. Survivors of the initial attack were no longer just hiding. They were organizing. Communication networks that had been underground for years, originally designed for emergency situations, now became the nervous system of human resistance. Military. Units that survived the first strike began to regroup in unexpected locations. Old Cold War bunkers, abandoned subway tunnels, remote mountain bases. Each became a hub of resistance. Soldiers who had trained for conventional warfare were now adapting to something completely unexpected. In a small electronics shop in the outskirts of Seoul, a group of college students discovered they could intercept alien communication frequencies. What started as a curiosity quickly became a critical intelligence-gathering operation. They began mapping alien communication patterns, identifying weaknesses in their technological systems. Commander Relic Voss watched with growing frustration. His advanced predictive models were failing. Humans were not responding like any species the Galactic Dominion had encountered before. They didn't surrender. They didn't panic. Instead, they adapted. June discovered something extraordinary about the alien communication systems. Their advanced technology relied on a complex network of quantum entanglement. But this same complexity created unexpected vulnerabilities. A small team of physicists and computer engineers began developing ways to exploit these weaknesses. "We're not just fighting," Hana told June one night, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of computer screens. "We're learning their entire technological language." The resistance spread like a virus. Every captured piece of alien technology became a learning opportunity. Military strategies were rewritten. Communication methods were completely redesigned. Humans were turning the aliens' technological superiority into a weakness. In research centers around the world, scientists worked day and night. They studied captured alien weapons, communication devices, and shield technologies. What would have taken years of research was now being accomplished in days through a combination of human creativity and desperate necessity. Local communities became survival units. Neighborhoods organized food distribution, medical care, and communication networks. People who had been strangers days ago now worked together with a unity that surprised even themselves. Commander Voss's reports back to the Galactic Dominion became increasingly confused. His initial assessment of a quick victory was falling apart. Humans were not just resisting, they were actively countering alien technologies in ways that defied all known invasion protocols. A breakthrough came when Hana discovered a critical flaw in the alien shield frequency. A small adjustment in electromagnetic wavelengths could create temporary disruptions in their most advanced defensive systems. It was a small victory, but it meant everything. June looked at the growing map of resistance locations. What had started as isolated groups was now becoming a global network. Communication between resistance cells happened through encrypted channels, using a mix of old and newly adapted technologies. The aliens had expected a quick submission. Instead, they found a planet full of innovators, fighters, and survivors. Every attack was met with unexpected resistance. Every technological advantage was quickly studied and potentially neutralized. As the second week of invasion approached, something became clear. This was no longer just a fight for survival. This was a fight that would define the future of human existence. In the underground bunker, June and Hana shared a moment of quiet determination. The world had changed. Humanity had changed. And they were just getting started. The resistance was no longer just emerging. It was becoming a force that would reshape everything the aliens thought they knew about conquest. The alien communication networks began to crackle with confusion. What started as carefully crafted human interference quickly became a psychological nightmare for the invading forces. June Park and Hana Kim had discovered something profound. The aliens, for all their technological superiority, had a critical weakness. Their communication systems were deeply structured and predictable. Humans were anything but predictable. Teams of linguists, computer experts, and psychological warfare specialists worked around the clock. They began sending false communication signals that mimicked alien protocols. Each message was designed to create maximum confusion. Supply routes were redirected. Military units received conflicting orders. Communication channels became a maze of misinformation. Commander Relic Voss watched in growing frustration. His perfectly planned invasion was unraveling in ways he could not understand. The human ability to manipulate information seemed almost supernatural. In one particularly brilliant operation, a group of hackers managed to broadcast a signal that made it appear as if different alien units were reporting massive casualties. Panic began to spread through the invasion force. Units that were supposed to work together now viewed each other with suspicion. The psychological warfare went deeper. Humans began understanding the alien communication patterns faster than the aliens could adapt. They discovered that the alien military had a strict hierarchical communication system. Every message had specific protocols, specific tones, specific structures. So they began to break those structures. Random messages would appear in communication channels. Some contained partial truths. Some were complete fabrications. Some were designed to create emotional responses. The aliens had never encountered a species that could manipulate information with such creativity. Hana developed a system that could generate thousands of fake communication signals simultaneously. Each signal looked completely authentic to alien scanning systems. Military units began receiving conflicting intelligence reports. Supply chains became disrupted. Strategic planning collapsed into chaos. Commander Voss's reports back to the Galactic Dominion became increasingly desperate. These humans, one transmission read, are not following any known psychological engagement protocol. The resistance understood something fundamental. Warfare was no longer just about weapons. It was about breaking the enemy's mental structure. Every message was a weapon. Every communication a potential psychological attack. Local resistance. Groups began sharing information through complex, unpredictable networks. Old communication technologies mixed with new. Radios, internet fragments, physical message runners. A communication system that was impossible to completely track or destroy. In one remarkable instance, a group of resistance fighters managed to broadcast a signal that made it appear like a massive human counterattack was happening thousands of miles from their actual location. Alien units would redirect, only to find nothing. The aliens had technologies that could detect complex communication signals across vast distances, but they had never encountered a species that could use those same technologies with such wild, unpredictable creativity. June realized they were fighting more than a physical war. They were fighting a war of perception. Every message was designed to create doubt. Every communication was a psychological weapon. Military experts who had studied psychological warfare for decades found themselves working alongside young hackers and communication specialists. Age didn't matter. Creativity was the only requirement. Commander Voss began to experience something his training had never prepared him for: genuine uncertainty. The human capacity to generate confusion was unlike anything in galactic military records. As weeks passed, the alien invasion force began to break down from within. Communication became a nightmare. Trust disappeared. Every message became a potential threat. Humans weren't just resisting. They were systematically destroying the psychological foundation of the alien military structure. In the underground bunker, June looked at Hana and smiled. They were writing a new chapter in warfare, one where creativity was the most powerful weapon. The abandoned subway station beneath Seoul had transformed into something between a high-tech laboratory and a survival workshop. Makeshift tables were covered with alien technology, dissected and reimagined by human hands. June Park watched as Hana Kim carefully integrated an alien communication chip into a modified smartphone, her hands moving with surgical precision. Around them, engineers and scientists worked with an intensity that bordered on desperation. Every captured piece of alien technology became a potential breakthrough. What would have taken years of research was now being accomplished in days, driven by the urgent need to survive. A team of quantum physicists had discovered something remarkable about the alien communication systems. Their advanced quantum entanglement technology, once thought to be unbreakable, had subtle vulnerabilities. Hana's team began developing a communication system that could not just intercept, but actually manipulate alien signals. "We're not just copying their technology," June explained to a group of young engineers. "We're improving it." Across the world, similar scenes were playing out. Research centers, universities, even small community workshops became hotbeds of technological innovation. The alien invasion had unleashed a wave of human creativity unlike anything in history. Military technologies evolved at an impossible pace. Captured alien weapons were carefully studied, then redesigned. A plasma cannon captured in the first week of invasion was now being transformed into a defensive system that could potentially disable alien ships. Commander Relic Voss received increasingly disturbing reports. Human technological adaptation was happening faster than any predictive model could calculate. Species typically took decades, if not centuries, to understand advanced technologies. Humans were doing it in weeks. In a small lab in Tokyo, a team of biotechnology experts made a breakthrough that would change everything. They discovered a way to enhance human neural interfaces using fragments of alien technology. What started as a survival technique quickly became something more, a potential evolutionary leap for humanity. Quantum computing, once a theoretical concept, was now being developed using principles extracted from alien technological systems. Communication networks became more robust, more secure, more intelligent. The humans were not just catching up, they were potentially surpassing their invaders. Hana's quantum entangled communication system became the first major breakthrough. It could communicate across vast distances, bypass alien tracking systems, and adapt in real time. Military units could now coordinate with a speed and precision that shocked the alien invasion force. Some captured alien technologies were completely reimagined. A shield generator became a source of clean energy. A communication device was transformed into an advanced medical diagnostic tool. Humans saw potential where the aliens saw only military application. Underground workshops became innovation centers. Young engineers worked alongside military veterans. Age didn't matter. Creativity was the only requirement. Every captured piece of technology was a puzzle to be solved, a weapon to be developed. The alien invasion force began to realize they were facing something unprecedented. Humans were not just resisting. They were evolving technologically at a rate that defied all known scientific understanding. June discovered a way to use alien quantum communication principles to create a global communication network that was virtually undetectable. Resistance cells could now communicate across continents with absolute security. Commander Voss's reports became increasingly desperate. "The humans are not just adapting," one transmission read. "They are transforming our own technologies into something we cannot understand." In the subway station laboratory, Hana looked at June. A small device in her hand pulsed with a blue light, a piece of alien technology now completely transformed by human innovation. "We're not just surviving," she said quietly. "We're becoming something new." The technological evolution was more than a response to invasion. It was a fundamental reimagining of human potential. Every captured alien device was a step toward a future that no one could have predicted. Humanity was writing a new chapter of technological development. And the universe was about to be changed forever. The sky above Seoul burned with an unnatural light. Alien warships hung like massive metal predators, their weapons charging for what they believed would be a final, devastating assault. But humanity had other plans. June Park stood in the underground command center, his hands steady on the communication console. Around him, a team of the world's best scientists, military strategists, and technology experts watched multiple holographic displays. Each screen showed a different part of the global resistance network. Hana Kim worked furiously, her fingers dancing across quantum communication interfaces. The system she had developed was more than just a communication network. It was a living, breathing technological organism that could adapt in milliseconds. The first wave of human counterattack began not with weapons, but with information. Quantum encrypted signals disrupted alien communication networks. Strategic points of alien invasion were suddenly cut off from central command. Entire alien battle groups found themselves isolated, confused, unable to coordinate. Commander Relic, Voss watched in growing horror. His invasion force, once considered the most advanced military power in the galaxy, was being systematically dismantled by a species he had initially considered primitive. Hybrid human-alien technologies unleashed their full potential. Plasma weapons modified by human engineers now fired with unprecedented precision. Shield systems developed in underground laboratories could absorb and redirect alien energy attacks. Each piece of technology was a testament to human creativity. Military. Units moved with a coordination that seemed almost supernatural. Communication was instantaneous, strategies adapted in real time. The rigid alien military structure was facing an enemy that was liquid, flexible, unpredictable. In major cities around the world, resistance fighters used a combination of captured alien technology and human innovation. A tank in Brazil used a shield system developed in a Tokyo laboratory. A communication network in Africa coordinated with resistance cells in North America. The final confrontation was not just a military battle. It was a war of adaptation, of spirit, of unexpected potential. Alien ground forces found themselves facing enemies that could predict their movements, disrupt their communications, and counter their most advanced technologies. Every alien tactical advantage was being systematically neutralized. Hana's quantum communication system did something unprecedented. It didn't just communicate, it learned. Each interaction made the system more intelligent, more adaptive. The resistance was becoming a single, global, intelligent organism. Commander Voss realized the fundamental mistake of the invasion. Humans were not just fighting, they were evolving. Each battle, each technological interaction was changing them at a fundamental level. The sky erupted with energy. Alien ships began to fall, not from overwhelming human firepower, but from a complete breakdown of their military and communication structures. Humanity had turned the aliens' technological superiority into their greatest weakness. June looked at Hana. No words were needed. They had done something that would change the course of human history forever. As the final alien ships began to retreat, Commander Voss transmitted his final message. The words would become legendary, a moment that defined the invasion. Why won't they die? The message captured everything: the confusion, the frustration, the complete failure of an invasion that was supposed to be a simple planetary conquest. Humans had not just survived, they had transformed. Every piece of alien technology, every invasion strategy had been studied, adapted, overcome. The battle was over, but something new had begun. In the underground command center, June and Hana shared a moment of quiet understanding. The world had changed. Humanity had changed. And they were just getting started. The sky above Seoul slowly cleared. Smoke from the battle began to dissipate. And beneath the destruction, a new future was emerging. A future defined by human potential, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had rewritten the rules of survival.